Here are some tips to help you with the registration process. Registration is the opening activity of the Camp Invention program and sets the tone for the entire camp week. Registration and base camp are two areas that all parents will see throughout the camp week. Therefore, these areas provide the first and best way to practice great guest service skills and ensure that camp is starting off on the right note. Get as much of the before work done prior to camp beginning so that the process runs smoothly. Before the program begins, it's a good idea to call participants and welcome them to the program. Before calling, decide how your groups will be identified. One easy way to arrange groups is by color. For example, the oldest group is the blue group, the next oldest group is the red group, and etc. Explain some of the activities the participants will do, tell them what colored group they'll join, and suggest that they wear a t-shirt or article of clothing that matches their group color. The registration process actually begins at the front door of the school or building that is hosting the Camp Invention program. Have staff members or volunteers stationed at the front door to greet participants and parents and explain where to find the registration tables.
Hi, welcome to camp.
This opening greeting sets a positive first impression for both kids and parents. Have one front door helper offer to walk participants down to the registration table and carry any items that the participants brought, such as take-apart machines and/or recyclables. Parents or guardians must sign their children in and out each day, unless staff members have been notified that children have been given parental permission to walk to and from the Camp Invention program. To set up the registration area on the first day, use long tables and chairs. Have master participant lists, pens, Camp Invention frequently asked question sheets, and copies of the participant information emergency medical form available. Have staff members and volunteers establish and maintain at least 3 separate lines leading to registration tables. In large camps, consider establishing 4 or 5 lines. Some directors establish registration lines in alphabetical order according to participants' last names. This makes it convenient for participants and parents to find the lines that correspond to their last names. Other directors specifically avoid setting up lines alphabetically to reduce problems with shorter and longer line waits. One other suggestion for establishing registration lines is to give the staff member or volunteer in charge of the line a master registration list to check in participants. More specific guidelines for setting up registration areas are found in the Director's Manual. Remember that all registration logistics are based on the host site's available space. Tape several blank copies of the Participant Information Emergency Information Form to each registration table. Highlight the signature areas and show them to all staff members so that they know where to direct parents to sign the form. Establish a help table that is managed by at least one staff member, preferably the assistant director or director who is very knowledgeable about the program and can easily field questions and concerns. Have extra participant information emergency medical forms and pens available at the help table. Anyone who is not listed on the master participant list, forgot his or her program forms, or needs to make arrangements to take medicine must seek assistance at the help table. If a child's name is not on the master participant list and the parent or participant says they have paid, permit the child to attend the program that morning and make sure that all necessary forms are completed and signed before the parent leaves the building. During the morning of the first day of camp, the director should speak with the Camp Invention Program's Central Customer Service Department to determine how to deal with this issue. Make sure that all participant medications, rosters, and health forms are stored in a secure area. This information is confidential. During registration, have a staff member check participants' take-apart items for suitability, safety, and cleanliness. Make sure all electrical cords have been cut and batteries have been removed. Have participants label their take-apart items with their names using masking tape. After participants' take-apart items have been checked for suitability, have participants place their items in the designated area. This space could be the classroom being used for the I Can Invent Fantasy Inventions and Complicated Machines module, or a table in another area in the building. Separate take-apart items by class, especially for larger camps. Make sure that all Camp Invention staff members are in the registration area 45 minutes early so that when parents arrive, they see that the program is running smoothly by teachers and not just counselors. While parents and participants are waiting to check in, have staff members greet them, help them with their take-apart items and recyclables, and answer questions. Have staff members also supervise counselors. Before the program begins, brief instructors on the registration process and give them written facts that will help them deal with parent questions, such as program hours, emergency phone numbers, which age groups are in which color groups, the director's name, instructors and counselors for each color group, and any information on their classes. If a babysitter or sibling brings a participant to the program, make sure that the participant's parent has indicated this arrangement and signed the form appropriately. If the necessary signatures are not on the form, participants may not attend classes until parental signatures are obtained. Before the program begins, designate an area, preferably an entire room, to serve as a recycle room. Have participants drop off their recyclables in this area. Participants received a list of acceptable recyclables in the mail. Recyclables are important for participants to use as they create. If there are not very many recyclables in the recycle room, it may be necessary to place requests for items in the daily newsletter. If possible, have additional counselors or volunteers available to organize the recycle room on a daily basis, as well as greet participants and parents as they drop off recyclables. Be sure to check all bottles and any other items to make sure they are clean. If water or other liquid remains in the container, empty the liquid and wash out the container. If any container appears to be dirty, throw it away. Once participants are registered, direct them to the base camp area to meet their counselors. All counselors should have a complete list of children in their groups in a sign-in and sign-out sheet. If the base camp area is far away from the registration tables, place signs on the floor or walls showing the way to base camp. Participants will gather in base camp at the beginning and end of each camp day. At the beginning of the day, have counselors collect children's lunches with their names on them and place them in a designated area. Have counselors engage children in morning base camp activities as they wait for classes to begin. See the base camp activities manual for this. Children will also eat lunch and wait to be picked up at base camp. Set aside a large area, such as a gymnasium or cafeteria, for base camp so that all participant groups can have their own tables and chairs. Just to reiterate what was mentioned at the beginning, registration and base camp are two areas that all parents will see throughout the week. Therefore, these areas provide the first and best way to practice great guest service skills and ensure that the program is starting off on the right note. Have fun with this process and get as much of the before work done before the program begins so that the process runs smoothly. Remind teachers and other staff members to go out of their way to be helpful to parents, and remember to smile.